What's good? What's good? Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. If you guys can see everything okay. I'm just driving, heading back home. I got a new phone mount, so I'm just testing it out. As you guys know, I've been traveling around in the camper van. I am like home these days. I haven't headed out on another adventure yet, but I'm testing out the phone mount to see if it's going to be okay while I do live streams while I'm driving. So I also have the Starlink on the roof, so I am getting Starlink internet. So just testing out the quality if I was to live stream from this phone mount. What's going on, Azriel? Been trying to figure out if I want to go live on YouTube or if I want to do it on TikTok or whatever. But I got some more work to do on the van. My last van that caught on fire got written off, and that one had a 3-inch lift with truck tires on it. But when I called the insurance company to let them know that I wanted to put a 3-inch lift again on the new van, they said no. So I either have to find another company that's going to insure my vehicle with the 3-inch lift. But the interesting part is I've noticed that this van, even though it's the same year and make as my last van, doesn't bottom out as much as this one does. So the last one, every time I would go over a speed bump out here grinding, every time I went over stuff, it would just scrape the bottom of it. Because the Dodge Grand Caravans, they have the stow and go where the seats go into the floor. So there's buckets underneath the Grand Caravan that the seats go into, as well as the spare tire is between the front seats. So there's a little bit less clearance. That being said, this Grand Caravan doesn't seem to be scraping over some of the speed bumps that I'm going over. I actually haven't heard it scrape at all. So there's going to be an upgrade that's happening. I'm actually removing the center console that's between the front seats, and I'm adding in a whole solar and DC charging system to this van. Instead of doing the lift kit, that's the next on this van. I'm going to be adding in a DC to DC alternator charger, and I'm going to be adding in a battery and a 2000 watt inverter. Now, right now in the van, I'm kind of running everything off of 2 kilowatt power station, and it's been working pretty well. But because I don't have the alternator charger that's in the van right now, before I got the new solar panels, the only charging that I was getting from it was the 100 watt through the 12 volt DC connector in the van. Now 100 watts is nothing, especially if I'm using the AC converter or the AC inverter on the power station. You know, I would say 50 to 60% of that 100 watts is really just being used for the conversion process. So you're not really getting any charge into the battery. You're just maintaining the use of the Starlink and, you know, charging small devices and whatever. So I'm really looking forward to adding in the alternator DC to DC charger. That should give me somewhere between 600 to 700 watts. And then some of you guys might have seen I've also got a 400 watt solar blanket. So previously, when we would pull up at locations, we would add in a window visor for some privacy that would cover the windshield, right? But what I found is that when we're sleeping at night, you know, the vehicle can build up some condensation, and those aren't the most secure, at least the cheap one that I had. However, the 400 watt solar blanket, it covers the whole windshield of the vehicle, gives good privacy, complete darkness, and also provides 400 watts of solar. So it's kind of dual purpose. I've tested it out. It will completely charge my 2 kilowatt system that I have in the vehicle right now. within 6 to 7 hours from fully dead. And I think that's, what's good. I mean, it's not perfect. Obviously, it depends on and your shade levels and all that kind of stuff. But when I couple that with the DC to DC charger from the alternator, it's going to be really well. There's going to be a lot of times where we're not using anywhere close to that power, and then there's going to be some times where we're going to want to use, some more electricity in the van, right? Especially when we get into the times where it gets a little colder outside. I have a little 200 watt heater that I'll throw up inside the vehicle and run off of the power station. So right now we have a propane barbecue that we use for cooking, and we use for making our coffees in the morning and stuff like that. That being said, I do have an air fryer. What's going on, 619? So right now we're kind of doing more propane because the weather's nicer, but there's going to be days when the weather's not nicer. I don't want to be kind of in the vehicle a little more. Some of you guys might know that I'm trying to plan a 2-month trip to go live out the van for 2 months for the summer. So not every day is going to be sunshine or rainbows. So we have the Ninja Crispy, which is a really, really nice, compact, convenient air fryer that I want to use inside. Now, the power station system that I have inside the vehicle right now is a 2 kilowatt system. And I'm replacing it with a 1.3 kilowatt battery. Yes, the battery is smaller, but with the additions to the DC to DC alternator charger and the 400 watt solar blanket, the charge rate is going to be much faster than what I'm using right now. So right now I need a little bit more power because my charge rate is slower. On my way to pick up Red Panda. I wish. He's pretty far away though. He's like on the other side of the country. Yeah, that would be cool to meet up with him, but you know how Red Panda is. He doesn't like to show his face. He doesn't like to don't know how to drive. You see how they're changing lanes up here? Ridiculous. How's the stream? Can you guys hear me okay? Is the image pretty clean? I mean, I am driving on the highway. Yeah, so like I said, once I replace the power station, even though the battery is going to be smaller, the rate of charge will be much more, so I can charge it up a lot quicker. Having a bigger power station is convenient right now because my rate of charge is a lot slower, right? So the power system that I'm building into the van, if I can fit it the way that I want, there's a potential upgrade where I can double the battery capacity, and that'll get me 2.6 kilowatts of energy in the van. And honestly, 2.6 kilowatts of power in the van is really good for a little tiny Grand Caravan, right? Coupled with a 2,000 watt inverter, like we're cooking with fire there, you know what I mean? The batteries that I picked up was the... Yeah, see, it's weird when I go live streaming on the YouTube app, I can't rotate it so it's widescreen. It's really strange. I think I tried and it wouldn't let me. Because I can do that with this mount, but I think I need to use something like, what do you call it? StreamYard or Restream or something like that. So... because I think, like, if I rotate the phone like this, it tells me to rotate my phone back. So maybe I gotta play with that a little bit later and test it out to see if I can do it from my phone. Now it's like, it's kind of dumb. So I don't want to mess with that too much because I'm just testing out the quality and the sound and all that kind of stuff. I've been looking for a server rack battery. Okay, so server rack batteries, lithium iron phosphate. The two that I've been checking out is eco-worthy. They have a 48 volt server rack battery. However, look into a company called DC House. Now, DC House on the spec teardown looks exactly identical to EcoWorthy's server rack battery, but it just looks like a rebranded name. Now, the only difference is the EcoWorthy's are actually made for, I believe, a 3U server rack, and the DC house are not, but they should fit. So it depends on your budget, but definitely check out the EcoWorthy 48 volt server rack batteries. Those look pretty dope. So yeah, if you're looking for a server rack phosphate battery, that's what I would say. It's a little delayed driving under the underpass. Yeah, because I mean, think about it, right? When I go under the underpass, the connection to the satellites from the Starlink is disrupted. So there's going to be a little bit of a delay, but the interesting part is it doesn't cut out, right? So that's the best part. What's going on, Flickchick? Craig? Yeah, so I'm just testing out live streaming from my phone while using the Starlink. One thing, I've done a lot of traveling in the van, and the one thing that is very apparent is that a lot of the places I go to has no cell phone reception. Zero. So having the Starlink and still wanting to create content is ideal. Yeah. They're about 5 kilowatts. Like, they're really, really good batteries. But like I said, if you can get away with a slightly different design, check out DC House, because you're going to get the same quality, just a little bit cheaper, but the design fit exactly to a server rack, but it will be cheaper. So EcoWorthy's, I think, probably one of the better ones out there for server rack batteries. However, if you can build a custom design and you're looking for the most compact design, I would check out Renogy. Renogy's been coming out with some really, really good slim design batteries. So the one that I'm putting in my vehicle is called the Renogy Super Slim, and I think they're 104 amp, 1334 watt hour battery, but they're only 2.5 inches tall. So you can build a custom enclosure with that and stack a lot of them in and get some really decent capacity. So if it's 1.3, you know, you get 4 of those and you pretty much have 5 kilowatts, right? And, you know, 4 times 2.5, and you're really looking at, you know, 10 inches tall. Or no, sorry, that was my bad. That's not 10 inches tall. Yeah, 10 inches tall. 10 inches tall, and you got 5 kilowatts of power, right? Flickchick, is Starlink expensive? Now, here's the interesting thing, that when I talk to people about Starlink, a lot of people don't realize that Starlink, yes, is more expensive than your home internet, but with Starlink, you have the ability to only pay for the months you use it. So if I'm not using it for a few months, inside the app, you can pause your billing. So there's 2 essential roaming plans. There's the Roam 50 that gives you 50 gigs of data, and that's going to be around $50 US, around $70 Canadian. Now, you're going to say, well, 50 gigs isn't a lot. Yeah, I know. And then after that, it'll charge you per gig. That's for people who just you want to use it as a backup. Now, the plan that I use is an unlimited plan, and it is, I think, around 150 US, 140 US, and around 170 Canadian. Now, that's unlimited. Now, you're going to be like, well, that sounds really expensive. Now, I only use it the months that I'm going to be traveling. If I'm only using it the months that I'm going to be traveling, and think about it, the places that I travel has no cell phone reception, it becomes an essential piece of gear. Give me 1 second, going over this. Right, so if I got no cell phone reception and something happens and I need to call for help, or I need to get information, or I need to communicate with people, right, then that 140 to 170 Canadian becomes essential for me to communicate when I have no cell phone reception. The new Starlink 1 gig, yeah, 2K just for the antenna. No. So the actual device only costed me like 400 Canadian, so maybe 300 US. And there's deals all the time. So like I'm driving right now. So when I first got my Starlink, we didn't have the Starlink Mini in Canada. It was in the States, but it wasn't in Canada, and I didn't want to wait because I wanted to get on the road. So right now I'm using the home Starlink on the roof of my minivan, right? So right now they have the Starlink Mini, and for most people the Starlink Mini is going to be the perfect device for you because the Starlink Mini can run off of a USB-C power, right? So you don't need to convert DC to AC and lose that conversion on the power. You can literally run it off of, you know, a power bank if you wanted to. And even there's a lot of people that have built conversion kits for the Starlink to run off of a battery pack. So the Starlink Mini is going to be really good for the average person. So it's really not that bad when you think about it. Even if, like, honestly, even if you think you're never going to use the Starlink ever, I am a big believer in just buying the device and keeping it at home, even if you don't pay for the monthly prices. Now, this is what I mean. So right now, up in Manitoba and some parts of Alberta, there's a huge fire going on, right? And there's natural disasters going on all around the world, right? But in those cases, some of the, you know, regular utilities is non-functioning. There's no internet, there's no cell phone towers, sometimes there's no electricity. And right now, Starlink is giving people in those areas a free month of service that's credited to your, you know, no power, no internet, no cell phone service. You have the dish there, you can activate it, and if they give you a credit, cool, then you can use it for free during the time when it's an emergency. If it's not an emergency, or if they don't give you a credit, then you just pay for that month and you got communication, right? So it's really cool because in the next year or two, there's going to be direct Starlink to mobile services or mobile devices. So you won't even need a dish. It's going to go straight to your mobile devices. But right now it's not here yet. But some of the places in the States I think already have it, like AT&T. Yeah. So I think who's this? Azriel's talking about it there. So we don't have that in Canada right now. That's why I got my dish. And then the reason why I kind of stuck with the Gen 3 dish over, you know, switching out to a mini is because you get slightly better bandwidth with the big dish. But I'll be honest, it's marginally better. Like, the average person won't notice it. But, you know, with me being a part-time content creator, you know, my woman's a part-time content creator too. And a lot of the places that we go to are really cool. So we want to be able to share it with you guys. And I want to be able to upload the videos. So I kind of care about the upload speed as well. And I'll get a little bit better bandwidth from using the Gen 3 over the Mini, right? But when it comes to power and how long you can run the devices, the Mini is king. It is amazing. Yeah, I never had the Gen 2. I started with the Gen 3, and it's been okay. It's got the it's got an Ethernet port on it, so it's been pretty good for me. The only thing is that, yeah, it's much bigger than the Mini, and again, when you're looking to build like a mobile setup, the Mini has the router that's built directly into it, which is cool because, like, in my van I have to find a place for the Wi-Fi router, right? So I have the dish on the roof, and the Wi-Fi router is just kind of slapped under it's kind of slapped under my seat right now. So because, like, honestly, my van is built out with a living room and a bedroom behind me, and then the kitchen's behind that. So I'm trying to save as much space as I can, and I don't want to use the space behind me. Like, if I was to take out the seats in the back, then there would be the buckets underneath them that I could use for all that space. But I like being able to have a modular setup where I can remove, you know, the kitchen, the living room, and the bedroom, and still have access to the 4 seats behind me, right? So yeah. Give me 1 second. It's at my son's high school. It's the day. One second. Yeah, so it's because I live in a beach town off of Lake Erie. So apparently today is National Beach Day, but it's not a school organized event, it's a student organized event. So all the students just don't go to school. And it's wild. Like it's so, I guess, recognized unofficially that even the local police department posts on their social media saying, hey, we know it's, a student beach day, it's not official, and you guys aren't going to be going to the school. Just make sure that you're going to be safe or whatever. It's pretty funny that we live in a society where the kids make up their own rules. You know what I'm saying? Like we could never, when we were younger, just be like, oh, the whole school is just not going to go to school today and we're going to go to the beach. Yeah, right. You can't tell these kids anything these days. It's crazy. So like for the kids that are there, they just put on a movie for them. So my son just leaves. So like he texts me, they did one of these last Friday too. So he texted to be absent last period. And that's all he sent me. And I was like, bro, like you could send me a little bit more context. You know what I'm saying? Send me something. Like, are you okay? Is there a reason you're not going to be in fourth period? And he's like, yeah, I don't want to be the only kid in school, so I'm leaving. And I'm like, okay, that's nice that you let me know. And I was like, so he gets home and I'm like, all right, what's up? And he's like, oh, it's beach day. All the kids went to beach day. And I'm like, so why didn't you go? Right? And he goes, because last year you didn't let me go. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, if your school would have told me that you guys were all going to the beach, I would have sent you. And he goes, no, it's not like a school beach day, it's a student beach day. And I'm like, that's different. Last year you weren't all caught up on your schoolwork, so I said no, right? This year, if you want to show me that you're all caught up on your schoolwork, then sure, go to beach day with your friends. But he doesn't want to take that initiative and show me, right? So yeah, I mean, kids these days. Well, I'm driving through the city right now. Like I'm not close to my home. I'm about an hour away. So yeah, I'm about an hour away from home. So I'm driving through pollution and smog. But it's an interesting area where I live. So as I drive through it, you probably won't see it because I'll be on the road. But to the left of me will be Lake Ontario. It's one of the Great Lakes. And then where I live is off of Lake Erie. So where I live, we're kind of in between both Great Lakes. It makes for some very interesting weather. Very, very interesting weather. Barrie, Ontario. What the heck are you doing in Barrie? It's better to visit it in the summer than the winter, I'll tell you that. Barrie's got some crazy winters. I used to spend a lot of time in Barrie when I was a kid. Is there anything I should experience out there? I was there last year and went to Niagara Falls. And I'm going to an Argonauts game. To be honest, I don't really know much about what to do in Barrie. Growing up, many years ago, Barrie was dead. But a lot of things have built up, so it really depends on what you want to do. I really can't say. I'm more into just, driving around to the different beaches and sightseeing and that kind of stuff. So I'm not into the. So I'm kind of boring. Thank you, Flick Chat. Appreciate it. Oh yeah. So there's Tidal Treasures. What's up? It's my woman. That's Shay. Yeah. So check out Canada's Wonderland if you like roller coasters and stuff like that, right? That's usually like the big tourist attraction. If you want to go to like downtown Toronto, then you can check out like Ripley's Aquarium, which is really cool. You can check out CN Tower. Highly recommend Ripley's Aquarium. It's super cool, and I think, well, at least 2 years ago when I did this, the last Friday of every month is all right. Sorry about that. The phone started overheating, and then it closed all of my apps, including the live stream. So we're gonna try this again. I had it wirelessly charging while I was doing this, so I think that may have added to the extra heat. I've turned on the AC in the car, so if I cut out again, the phone overheated, so I apologize. Yeah, let me know if you guys can hear and see me again, because that was a little wild. I didn't expect that to happen. But you know, sometimes when you're wirelessly charging, I think it adds a little bit more heat. So we're gonna see if this is a good test run, right? So I'm trying to see if I could if it'll overheat when it's not charging. So sorry if I missed any comments. Did he crash? That's hilarious. No, I did not crash. I'm good. Yeah, a drop connection. What's going on, Jeremy? Yeah, Ripley's is pretty good, so I checked that out. Yeah. My phone overheated, so I actually had to wait for my phone to cool down. Crazy. So hopefully it doesn't overheat again. I've turned on the AC and I've disconnected the wireless charging. But yeah, so check out, I would go downtown Toronto and check out like the touristy stuff. So it depends on what kind of stuff, you know, roller coasters. Check out Canada's Wonderland. Ripley's is really nice. You have the CN Tower and stuff like that. There's some really cool places in Niagara Falls too, but to me Niagara Falls is kind of played out. Depends on like your budget, right? If you got bread to blow, then there's, you know, revolving restaurants and there's like all kinds of crazy shit. So okay, I mean, Barrie is really cool to go to if you like winter sports. So if you go in the winter time to Barrie, then there's Horseshoe Valley. Horseshoe Valley is a resort with ski hills and stuff like that, and you can do like snowmobiling, and I think Horseshoe Valley in the summertime might offer some off-roading, so you might be able to get like four-wheelers and stuff like that, so or dirt bikes. So check out that when you go to Barrie. They might have some of that stuff where you can like go out with an instructor or rent something. But yeah, so again, I'm testing out the live stream. We're live streaming off of the Starlink that's on the roof of the van. So you are going to notice a little bit of cutout here. Anytime I go under an underpass, when it disrupts the signal to the Starlink. But for the most part, it's pretty good. Again, thank you very much, Flick Chick, for the $5 dono. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully, I'm hoping that I can do a lot more of these live streams while we're driving and we're going to our destinations, because it's going to be a lot of driving, right? Like, I think we're probably planning on doing something like, I don't know, over 2,000 miles of driving after July. So it's going to be a big road trip. And honestly, whatever I can make through social media is going to go right back into gas. No, I haven't talked to Rojas in a long time. I fell off the scene and life changed and stopped doing the podcast, and I started working on a lot of other things, right? So I don't really stream that much, so I don't talk about Fire Sticks and Android boxes and all that crazy stuff anymore. I changed the name of the channel to What's Up Next because it's not always going to be tech-related stuff that I want to talk about. Yes, everything I do involves some kind of tech, but I want it to be more about a day in a life or more about an adventure. Like, what is up next? Like, what's next up to next? That's why I changed the name of the channel, because I want to share some of these experiences, some of the places, and some of the really cool things that I find out about with you guys. I have a lot of people that I'll share like little clips with, like family and friends, and they're always like, that's really cool. So I wanted to change it from, you know, an unboxing or tech focused thing to really just sharing some really cool moments, be it tech related or lifestyle, with you guys. So I don't necessarily have the same time to sit down and deal with a podcast. I've really gone pretty deep into the crypto mining, and I've gone more into solar panels and lithium iron phosphate batteries, and, you know, camper vans and camping. And see, Title Treasures, who's in the chat, is my woman. That's Shay, and she owns a company called Title Treasures, and we go around to different beaches, and we collect sea glass and like really cool seashells and like all different kinds of stuff that we find on the beach. Sometimes porcelain, and she creates really cool works of art with it. So if you check out her YouTube channel, you can see some of the stuff that she creates. She posts a lot on her TikTok, and I think there's a Facebook page too. But she does resin work as well as paintings and some other stuff. And we do like markets. So we go to markets, we set up a table, and we sell the artwork. So tomorrow we actually have a market that we're doing in our local area where we'll set up some of her stuff. And it's pretty cool because you get to communicate with a lot of people, and people seem to like the idea of locally handcrafted artwork. It means something to them, right? So she's got a couple of requests to make custom orders and custom designs, put custom sayings and stuff. She had a couple custom orders for people to preserve their wedding flowers, and it's just a really cool idea. And then to couple it with, you know, the items that are in this artwork is from a local beach to where they grew up, or a local beach to where their family is from. So it's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. I love doing the markets. And I mean, you guys know I'm a talker, so I get everyone talking to me, and then I get everyone, you know, checking out all the artwork. It's a lot of fun. So the whole goal, because Shay is definitely a lot more outdoorsy than I am, Title Treasures, and I'm more of the glamper. So this is a travel channel from before. So he had 3 channels. He had Rojas Reviews, and then he had that changed to like Rojas, I don't know. There was 3 different channels that he had, and one of them was a travel channel. So he's just spending more time doing the traveling, which is what he always wanted to do, right? So again, with this channel, I'm just kind of moving it to a different focus because I enjoy spending the time with Title Treasures and traveling around. And, you know, I have a drone. I actually have 2 drones, so I want to take some drone footage and show you guys the sceneries and the different beaches that we go to and some of the really interesting places that we're camping out at for free. Because a lot of people don't know that you can camp out places for free. And there's some really cool websites that help you accomplish that. My girl wants to go glamping. Yeah, glamping is you know, getting to be very popular. And what we do is what's called stealth camping. So people don't even know that we're camping because it just looks like a regular minivan. So that was the idea. Title Treasure is going to be, you know, working on her, you know, beach combing and all that kind of stuff that she does. And then I'm going to be working on creating some cool content, own shot, maybe doing some unboxings in the van itself. Because once the van is converted into the living room, then, you know, I have a little table inside. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and I think that, to be honest, I think doing van conversions to glamping is going to become very, very popular. You know, buying an RV is expensive, and a lot of people don't have the money to build an RV. But if you can somehow go stealth camping in your regular minivan, then it kind of makes sense to do it, right? But the way that it's set up is that I don't lose anything. I can take out all of the glamping gear and still have a fully functioning minivan. So, I mean, you can buy, probably in the States, a Grand Caravan, like a 11 to 2020, for somewhere between, I would say, $6,000 to $15,000. And you could put another $5,000 into that, and you could have a vehicle that you can live out, right? So one of the ways that you can do it is, like, one of the ways that we did it is that we found a company that actually makes custom kits for the minivan, and they're fully modular. They are stackable, so we can stack up the back piece for the bed, where you can still pull out 2 more seats behind us, and we can travel with 4 people if we want, right? Or you can make it something a little bit more permanent, right? And then the other way is you could also build your own design in the back, right? That would cost a lot less, right? You could use a futon in the back, and you could build it out however you want. Now, there is small little toilets that you can build in and all that kind of stuff, but I don't really care about that. So the one benefit of building a glamper van or vamping, that I call it quite often, is that you don't have to tear down. Oh, there's a big accident on the other side of the highway. You don't have to tear down all of your camping stuff when you need to go and do something, right? So if a situation does happen and I need to, you know, find a washroom right away. Wow, that accident looks bad. You guys can't really see it, but there's a... Here, I'm going to turn the camera. I don't know if you guys can see, but on the left side, there's a huge accident. So because it's all in the vehicle, I literally just jump in the driver's seat and I can go. So one of the big life hacks about vamping or camping out of the van is, wow, how did they do that? Yo, that was a 3-car accident. Looks like 3 cars T-boned. That was wild. I don't know if you guys saw that. It's crazy. So, yeah, there's always an accident on these busy highways. So one of the ways that you can get around having that toilet is actually getting a gym membership. So if you get a gym membership, a lot of the gyms have locations all over the country, and they'll give you 24-hour access to washrooms and showers. Some of them will have towel service, and some of them won't. And then to make it even cheaper, some of the gyms have like a platinum or a black card or a premium membership, where it includes a friend or a family member to use the same card as you, just not at the same time. And that's the membership that I got. So it's one membership, but it allows for more than one people to use the card, just not at the same time. So when we pull up at locations, I could run in and shower and use the washroom and freshen up, and then Title Treasures can go in after me, and that way we're only paying for one membership, and we have locations all across Canada. Right, so the one that I got is because one of my friends, he works for Fit for Less, but Planet Fitness works the same way, right? Same with Good Life and a lot of the other gyms, right? So just check the gyms in your country, see which ones offer the most access to the most places that you want to travel in, and then grab that membership, right? Find ways to make those monthly subscriptions work for you, A lot of people think, oh, well, I have a gym membership, so I have to, force myself to go to the gym just to work out. No, what other amenities can I get out of it? There's a big group of people who use gym memberships and don't even work out. Well, obviously there's a lot of people who have gym memberships and just pay for it and don't do anything with it. But then there's a great bunch of people. There's a large demographic of people who have gym memberships just for the washrooms and for the showers. Don't even work out. I mean, working out is cool. Do it if you can and if you want to and if you're motivated to. But there's other amenities that you can get your money's worth out of these memberships, right? So that's the plan. So yeah, it like at least so far, since unplugging the wireless charger and turning on the AC in my van, that I haven't had an overheating issue, at least not yet. But you guys still say that the stream looks okay and I sound okay. I'm a little bit yelling just to try to get it over the AC. And I mean, the phone is a little bit away from me. But yeah, if you guys got any questions about how to, go glamping or vamping or camping on a budget, or if you got questions about, solar panels, or if you got questions about lithium ion batteries, that's kind of the stuff that I'm into right now. I've done a lot of research into that kind of stuff, or crypto mining, or if you guys have any questions about stocks or the economy, those are my interests right now. That's what I'm super interested about, is the economy, is stocks, a little bit about politics, about camping and glamping and vamping and energy, portable energy, solar energy. Those are my big interest right now. Or if you got questions about medicinal mushrooms or functional mushrooms, as they're more appropriately called, a lot of people are having health issues right now, and they don't know that a lot of the health issues that they're having can be supplemented by mushrooms. Craig says, I'm following a guy who's building lives, or he lives in a Tesla and door dashes and earns $60 a year to build a tiny home. Yeah, so there's actually two guys that I follow that live out of a Tesla. One lives out of the sedan style and the other lives out of the SUV style. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can figure out how to live for free, right? So there's companies like Lyft and Uber Eats and all different kinds of things that you just, one of the big things that I say is a lot of us think that we need to earn more money in order to live better, but sometimes we need to humble ourselves and we need to learn how to make our money go further, right? So we have assets and we have liabilities, and there's things that we pay every month, right? But what if we can turn our liabilities into assets? And if we can turn our liabilities into assets, then do we need to make money? And the answer is no. So for instance, I tell a lot of people the reason why I mine crypto is because it turns my electrical bill in the house into an asset. So yes, I pay an electrical bill, but I get rewarded more in crypto than what I pay. And it's paying me in an inflationary asset instead of a deflationary asset like fiat currency. So can you do that with more utilities than just your electrical bill? Yes, you can. For instance, you could learn how to grow something in your house or in your garden that you could sell locally. And what do you need in order to do that? You need water, right? You might need soil and some other things, but by doing so, you're turning your hydro utilities, your water that you pay every month, into an asset liability because you're using that water to grow things that you can sell, or to offset your food. You can grow your own food. So Azriel wants to know, how do I find places to go glamping? So I'm going to give you a website, and it's going to work all over the world, not just in Canada. So check out this website because it's really cool. It's called as the letter I, overlander.com. And that's going to show you places that you can glamp, camp for free. Now, it does have some places that it'll tell you this place costs this much or whatever, or, you know, it'll give you updates. People leave a lot of reviews, and it's honestly one of the biggest websites that people who glamp or, you know, stealth camp or vamp or vamping or whatever that people use. There's also some websites, depending on your area, that show you free parking in places like grocery stores and stuff like that. One of the, you know, places that a lot of people talk about will be like Walmart parking lots at night. One of the really cool places magic shrooms. One of the really cool life hacks, one of the first ones that I did when we started to go glamping in the van, is that we would travel around to areas that had casinos. So at least in Ontario, I've only ever been kicked out of one casino, and that was in Quebec. But at least in Ontario, they all offer free parking. They offer free pop and water and 24-hour access to clean washrooms. So we would pick an area that had a casino, and we would spend the night in the parking lot, and that would be free. And then we would also have access to free water, free popping, you know, nice restrooms. So that was a way that we did glamping for free. But you want to check the stipulations with any casino that you stay at, because they could have their own rules. Don't automatically assume that they're going to have free parking. And some of them will have designated spots for RVs. Some might even have, you know, electricity hookups. Well, yeah, check your local listings. And the reason why casinos offer, you know, free parking is because they're hoping that you're going to go in there and spend all your money. But you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to. Like, you can go in and sure, you can check out, you know, the touristy kind of stuff. And, you know, in the beginning, some ways that I would look at it is like, hey, if I was going to rent a hotel in this area, I'd probably spend, you know, $150. So the first couple casinos that I went to, I was like, all right, well, my budget is $150, because that's how much the night to get a hotel room would cost. And I would just spend that at a casino. And, you know, my mentality was I'm going to lose it anyways. But, you know, you want to have your own kind of, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Self-control. Exactly, right? So if the casino, 619, you know, go to the penny slots for a minute and then go take a nap for 12 hours. So if the casino ever comes to tell you, you could be like, look, I was on this penny slot and now I'm just hanging out. You guys offer free parking. I was using your facilities, and I can guarantee you they can pull up the cameras and be like, yeah, he was here. So you don't have to. I just, you know, it's kind of only if you think you're going to be staying there longer than a night. So what do you guys think about this kind of live stream? Would you guys watch more of these live streams where I'm just kind of driving? Do you guys want to have moments where I flip the camera around and you see my big hairy face? Or would you guys rather be watching the roads while I drive? The lobster buffet. It'd be like, yo, your lobster buffet was so good that I got itis and I had to go lay down for a minute. I'm gonna be back for dessert. That's pretty funny. Both. I don't remember what you're referring to there, Craig, but hopefully I answered whatever question you had. I was rambling for a while. Oh, you guys want me to flip the camera around too? I mean, I haven't combed my beard today, so I'm a little bit unruly. So there we go. So your beard is getting nice and gray. I'm getting a little bit older now. My son's gonna be 18 this year. That's crazy, right? So you can see this is a regular Dodge Grand Caravan. It's a regular Dodge Grand Caravan. If I move the camera like this, you're gonna see. And then if I go down a little bit, that's the bed. It's into a living room where the middle piece turns into a table, and there's seats on both sides, and then the very back is where the kitchen is. Usually there's a cooler up there, but I mean, I'm not traveling right now, so the cooler's not up. But on the back we have a propane barbecue, and then underneath the bed right now we have our air fryer and that kind of stuff. So we actually just got a really cool, and I never knew this existed, right? And this is the thing, you start to ask questions when you put yourself in these situations, right? You're like, all right, space is limited, so what items do I have, and what is the smallest version of that item? So we have a kettle that we use for boiling water, making tea, making coffee, that kind of stuff, and we use it on the propane barbecue to heat it up, right? Now I have the power station in the back, and I also have the battery system that we're going to be putting in. So I was like, what is the smallest version of an electric kettle? Turns out there's one that's this big, and it's a collapsible silicone. Plugs in to AC power, and it only uses about 800 watts, right? And I tested it out, works really good. So I got a collapsible kettle, takes up hardly any space. We have a collapsible full-on cutlery plate set that's only this big. Like, there's so many really cool innovations that makes this lifestyle super convenient. So you think about all the different things that you use in your life and just start questioning, what is the smallest version of this? And you'll see some really cool innovations, I'm telling you, man. 609 says, it's crazy to think that my 20-year reunion from high school and friends are graduated. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man. 100%. It is insane. Like, I think I graduated high school in 2004. So, I mean, I'm past my 20-year reunion, but I wasn't going to go back there. You know, there's only like, actually, now that I think about it, there's only two people that I still talk to from high school. And the majority of the people that I talk to are people that I never see. Like, I've made so many interesting friendship relationships through YouTube that I talk to every day. And, you know, I'm not a YouTuber. I don't consider myself a YouTuber. I do this part-time. I'd like to do it full-time, but, you know, it just doesn't pay well enough to do it full-time. So I come on when I can. And, but I just come on because I like the friendships that we've built over the years, like 619, Craig, Flick Chick, Jeremy. We've been communicating through YouTube and through, you know, Telegram and Discord for years. So to me, I don't consider myself a YouTube. I mean, I know, or you guys know more about my life than most of my family and my friends. So it's kind of cool just to come on and share the moments with you and, you know, be a part of your day. When I first got on doing YouTube, I didn't get it. Like when I first started doing live streams, but people found enjoyment in my crazy conversations. And there was some kind of distraction from the craziness of their everyday life. So somehow, through me just being me, and this goes with every content creator, there are going to be people that find some kind of connection through social media with you that is a distraction from their everyday life. And there is value that the person who creates the content, the person who's sharing their everyday life, doesn't understand. There's a certain amount of value that the person who's consuming the content gets, and they find a certain amount of value from that. And it's really cool to build those connections and to create that value and to be able to supplement humanity in that kind of way that wasn't available, 20, 30 years ago. It's crazy. It's honestly crazy. And I love social media for that way. I don't want YouTube to ever feel like a job, or social media to ever feel like a job. I just want it to be an outlet where if I'm just bored, or if I'm just doing something cool, that I can just hit go live or share a video or whatever it may be, and just kind of be able to share the moments with the people that are able to find value in it. So, do I have solar on the car? So, Craig, I have a video that I'm probably going to be releasing next Friday. But if you go to nxtlvl.com, I have their 400 watt solar blanket. So I talked about it in the beginning of the stream. And it folds up to like a laptop size bag. And I use that to cover my windshield. So it's not on full time. It's only on when I'm stationary. Now my other vehicle, I have a Dodge Journey that has a 100 watt solar panel on the roof. So that one's permanently fixed on the roof, and that's just to charge power station or whatever. But I do have that 400 watt solar blanket. It's really convenient. So I don't have solar on the van right now. I only have a 400 watt solar blanket, but I am putting in 700 watt DC to DC alternator charger as well. So you can go both routes. You can put solar on your roof, but I'll be very blunt with you. You're not going to get a lot of solar from it, right? You're only going to get maybe 50% of the rated capacity on really good days, because your angle is not perfect, and there's going to be clouds, and there's going to be whatever. So, and the roof of a vehicle is not the ideal space to have a big array, right? So the most you're going to get on the roof of a vehicle is maybe 300 or 400 watts. If you got a bigger van, like a Sprinter or something, you might be able to get 600 to 1,000 watts, but that's really pushing it. So, solar panels, if you're going to put like 400 watts in solar panels, you could be spending somewhere around, $400 to $500. And then you also have to think about, where does the energy go, the batteries and all that kind of stuff. So what some people do is they just put in a DC to DC alternator charger, and then they connect it to a power station, because the power station can be used in the vehicle, not in the vehicle, whatever, right? And the DC to DC alternator chargers are they produce more power than a solar panel will in a smaller vehicle. So that's what's up, Deanna? So that's the route that I would kind of go if it's kind of like a part-time thing for you. However, if you're going to be parked for long periods of time and you're vamping or you're glamping, you don't want to always be running your vehicle. That's kind of where solar panels are more important, right? And that's kind of why I like the 400 watt solar blanket. I can just drape it over the vehicle. But there are some really cool, like kickstand style solar panels that you can use too. There's a company that makes a really nice 400 watt solar kickstand style, a little bit more rigid than the solar blanket. And they're called, I'm going to spell it for you. So it's Z or Z OUPW. And they make an N-type solar panel, which is more efficient than the old monocrystallines. So those are definitely pretty cool. But like I said, I wanted the most compact and the most efficient style solar panel, and that's why I went with the Renogy 400 watt solar blanket. Now these were just released a month ago, and they've been selling out like crazy. So you may have to pre-order it if you want it. But I'm going to be releasing a video on it probably next Friday. I half recorded the video, But the problem is when I set it up, it was like raining and overcast, and I couldn't really showcase the amount of the efficiency of it, right? So it's a 400 watt solar blanket, and again, it's not at the ideal angle for efficiency, but the most that I've been able to see out of it when I was using it was like 360 watts, which is really, really good for, you know, a solar blanket that I'm just throwing over the roof of the vehicle. So yeah. So yeah, like I would say if you're just looking to do something very part-time, not looking to live out of your vehicle for, you know, more than a weekend, then you could get away with getting a DC to DC charger. Now there's a couple companies that make it, right? So you can get one from Blue Yeti, DJI makes them. I think EcoFlow makes them too. Now the reason that I didn't go with Blue Yeti, EcoFlow, or DJI, I went with Renogy because Renogy has a built-in MPPT controller. So MPPT controllers are for solar panels. So you can't use with the DJI and the EcoFlow and those other companies, you can't use the DC to DC alternator charger and solar panels at the same time. So I wanted something that was, you know, I'm always looking for as many uses out of a product as I can get. You guys know that. Every video that I ever did, I was always like, how far can I take this product? How far can I stretch this? What is the most that I can do with this? Ever since I was reviewing Android boxes or looking at applications, that's what a lot of you guys liked, is I would take an application and I'm like, what is the premium? What is the best settings? What is the best way to use it? How do I get my best user experience? And that's why I went with the Renogy DC to DC alternator charger. It's because I can connect the 400 watt solar blanket to it and I can connect my alternator to it. So if my vehicle isn't running, then it'll charge from the 400 watt solar blanket. And the really cool thing is, which I don't know for a fact because I didn't check it out, because I didn't know this was a thing until after I acquired it, but this system, the Renogy DC to DC charger, once it tops up the house battery, so my Super Slim that I'm putting in, it'll actually trickle charge your starter battery in your vehicle from the solar panels as long as your house battery is full. So that's super cool, right? So I was kind of doing some calculations. I'm like, if my battery in my car was fully dead, how long with the solar panels that I have would I need to trickle charge off the solar panels in order to crank it? And it works out, depending on how much sun I'm getting and the efficiencies, it would be somewhere around half an hour to, let's say, 2 hours, right? But I mean, I'm in a camper van, so I got a little bit of time to kill. I can cook up a steak, and cook up some chicken, we can make some ribs, we can do whatever. And then if my battery's dead, I can do that all off of propane, right? And that way it'll let my batteries charge so I can, you know, kick it into gear and get the hell out of there. 619 says I gotta switch off my solar grid to MPPT. Yeah, I never really liked the idea of grid. You know, taking your solar power and throwing it at the grid. Yeah, they give you a little bit of a rebate, but I like the idea of storing it. However, if it was 5 years ago, I completely understand why you'd want to feed it back to the grid, because the batteries weren't ready yet. They were not ready yet. And the batteries now, so the battery that I'm putting in the vehicle as my accessory battery is the Renogy Super Slim. And the Renogy Super Slim has a 6,000 life cycle capacity. That is insane. That's 15 years of daily use before it drops down to 80%. 15 years of charging it up and killing it, charging it up and killing it. It is a solid state, or it's a semi-solid state battery. So it's 70% solid state. So it's really cool because it's, you know, it's submersible, so it's kind of water resistant up to 1 meter, and it's fireproof, and it's, because it's a solid state, you can shake it around. I can mount it to the bottom of the van if I wanted to. 619 says, no, I got solar crypto off-grid setup on a mountain peak. Yeah, that's dope. Oh, you were asking earlier about my Weather XM. To be honest, bro, I got it like over a year ago and I never set it up. It's sitting in a box. So I should have set it up, but I haven't had the time to get around to it. Is it too late? Should I still set up my Weather XM? What do you think? And I think Weather XM actually works with 2 different cryptocurrencies too. Maybe 3 now, who knows? There's always more things coming out of the woodwork. Yeah, it's still sitting in the box. Do you think I should set up my Weather XM? Literally just set up my helium one that was sitting for like 2 to 3 years. That's crazy. Yeah, I did helium for a little bit, but I don't know. My life has changed so much over the last 5 years. I can't believe how long ago I started crypto mining. Like 619, how long have you followed me for? Followed me from the Android box days, right? And I started making live streams about building GPU mining stuff, and that was like, I feel like that was 5 years ago. And I just recently started getting rid of a lot of my GPUs because I'm more of an ASIC miner now. So I have, man, how many ASICs do I have? I have 1, 2, 7, 8, 9. I have like 10 ASIC machines that are mining. And I started with the gold shells, realized the gold shells are not efficient. Got rid of, or trying to get rid of my gold shells now. And I moved to a lot of the other bigger ASICs. But like, I was in crypto mining when Ethereum was popping. Like, it was making bread, bro. It's like, oh, there's going to be another Ethereum. Well, you know, I'm here from the future to tell you there's no new Ethereum. Like, there are some cool cryptos that you can make some money off of. I just wanted to say thank you again, guys, for coming to join me on this drive. I had like an hour and a half drive home, so I figured let me just test out this live stream. We realized that when it's wireless charging, my phone will overheat and end the stream. Hold on a second here. Alright, cool. Yeah, it'll overheat, but if I'm not wirelessly charging and my phone's fully charged, then we're pretty good. Maybe I should have plugged in the regular charger to see if it still overheats. That would have been a good test too. Maybe the next time I go for a drive, I'll charge it with the regular cable and see if it still overheats. But Plex and Jellyfin somehow got me into hilarious. That is hilarious. Plex, that doesn't make any sense. Plex and Jellyfin got you into helium. I don't understand that. I appreciate that, Craig. Thank you very much for the feedback. And again, if I missed anybody that sent a super chat or a super, appreciate it. It's a little bit difficult to multitask like this where I'm driving and trying to read the chat at the same time. I'm so used to, you know, live streaming from a computer, from a setup where I have multiple monitors and, you know, my soundboard and all that. I want to simplify everything where if I want to go live, I can just hit a button and go live, right? And the easiest way to do that is from a cell phone. So, yeah. So it's, you know, not a high kind of live stream, but it's real. And that's kind of what I want to do with my social media content. I just want to be real. I just want to share real moments with you guys, all the crazy things that we're doing. Yeah. Was it 619? Was it content creators that you were following in regards to Plex and Jellyfin that did content also in regards to DPIN? And that's how you got there? So I'm like maybe 25 minutes from home now. So Craig, have you been thinking about solar, or are you thinking about setting up your vehicle for more of a glamping setup? What kind of vehicle are you thinking about converting? I can probably give you some resources to check out and to get some ideas from. 619 says, I had someone helping me set up RC, clone. Somehow we got to talking about crypto, and I said I don't do crypto because of power prices, and the guy mentioned helium low power. Yeah. Helium was a very interesting game changer. Helium was how a lot of people learned about DPIN, right? So there was a lot of interesting DPIN projects that came out after helium. And there's so many different styles. Like there's Hive Mapper, and there's what's the one that connects to your ODB sensor in your vehicle? Can't remember the name of it now, but I have that one too. I just don't use them as much. Demo, yeah, I have a demo too. It's just not connected, and I know that's kind of stupid, but to be honest, I've had a lot of issues with vehicles over the past few months. So there's that. One of them caught on fire, and then I was out of a van for a few months. I just didn't like switching everything over all the time or whatever. Craig says, I'm interested in information for the time being. Yeah, maybe in the future. What kind of vehicle are you driving, Craig? Do you have like an SUV or a van? How's the quality? Like, this is my front-facing camera on my phone. It looks pretty good. And I have at home, I have like a microphone, a wireless microphone. So when I do live streams like this, I'll probably connect the wireless microphone to it and get a little bit better quality. What province are you in, 619? 619. Is that your area code? Is that Ontario? It's not Ontario. Where's 619? .720p. I wonder if I can increase that in the settings. Like I said, I don't usually live stream from my phone. This is the first time I'm kind of like doing this length of a live stream from my phone. So I do like a couple private live streams just to test some stuff and see how it goes. Oh, San Diego. Well, you're in the States. Yeah, I looked into that Spexy project, and unfortunately the drones that I have, they haven't released an SDK for it, so I can't use the drones that I have for the Spexy DPIN. That would be pretty cool. That would actually give me kind of more purpose to drive around and, you know, kind of upload the data from the drones and make money from doing that. I know I have a friend of mine, I just saw him today, but he flies around to different islands in the Caribbean, and he does all their drone work. And it's crazy. He gets, you know, 5-star all expensive paid trips just to go in and record drone footage. It's insane. And they've worked with like DJ Khaled and like Akon and like all these big people. It's crazy. What you doing? Oh, you guys are realizing that you guys live in the same house? So if you guys are just joining the stream, this is a test stream to see how the live streaming goes while we're out and we're on our drives. So we realized that if I'm wirelessly charging my phone while doing the live stream, that it overheats and it shuts off the live stream. So I removed the wireless charging. And we seem to be good. Again, thank you for the members of the channel for supporting the channel. For those of you that have done donations, I appreciate it. You guys donate goes right into the camper van, either in gas or modifications, and it's going to be helping me for when I decide to go live out of the van for 2 months in July. That's kind of the goal, right? So I'm going to share some of those adventures with you guys. Live out of the camper van. You guys can see all the cool things that we get up to. If you guys want to see some of the markets that we do with Title Treasure's artwork, then we can probably set up a live stream for that as well. We tried to do a website for her to sell her artwork, but it's just so hard to do a website to sell the artwork because everything is unique. So you need so many different SKUs on a website to sell it, and we haven't done any large scale items yet, so there's nothing that's really like $200-300. So everything's kind of like between $5 to $100, and they sell pretty quickly. So to continuously upload new SKUs is a lot of work on a website. That's why we like to do the markets. To seeing your girl selling her stuff, visiting Canada. The hard part is we're planning on leaving the province. So, like I said, we're going to be leaving for 2 months. But if you guys know any cool places to go check out, either in Ontario, in Quebec, in New Brunswick, PI, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, and Labrador, that's where we're going to be traveling for 2 months. That's where we're going to go and check out, right? So my woman has 2 weeks vacation in August. So the goal is to go travel and then get to Nova Scotia, because that's where she's from. Spend 2 weeks in Nova Scotia and then go check out the other areas, right? Yeah, it's pretty overcasty here too. So like I got off the main highway, I'm on a smaller highway. So the main highway was kind of over by Lake Ontario, and then this highway will take me in the direction of Lake Erie. And I'm about 25 minutes from the US border. Big. make a map and a plan just for me. So I'm a little bit OCD. I apparently have a little bit of an issue. I have to know a direction, or apparently I have a meltdown. So I don't necessarily need to know exactly where we're going, but a direction. So as long as I know a direction that we're traveling in, that's cool. That's cool. There's a lot of spectrums out there, and apparently I might be on one of them. Who knew? Yeah, so far the phone's been pretty good. It hasn't overheated since I took it off the wireless charging. It's actually pretty cool to the touch. So I'm going to try plugging in the charger, like by cable, and see if it overheats now. All right, so we're charging, and we're checking to see if this overheats. That's kind of the plan. But I'm only about 20 minutes away from home. Where you at now? Yeah, I'm only about 20 minutes away from home, so I'll see you soon, babe. I'm just exiting the 406, getting on the 140, so you know where I am. This is living in 2025 when you communicate with your significant other on a live stream. Going through a roundabout here. Love you too. See you soon. All right, so now I'm going to switch around the camera. The Starlink is about to cut out because I'm driving underneath water. That is a bridge, and inside of it is all water. So the Starlink will cut out. All right, so it cut out for a second, and I was driving under a canal. Like, I've seen big freight lines, big ships going over that while I drive under it. So I find that pretty impressive because the Starlink only cut out for a second. Tell me how much I cut out there during a live stream. Like, that's not bad. That's pretty good. What do you guys think? Now, this road that I'm on has no cell towers, and it is impossible to get a signal on your cell phone. And the amount of times that I would see people hitting deer here was insane. And like, you hit a deer here and you got no cell phone reception, you got to call for help. It's crazy. But the Starlink gets reception. I can tell you that. Yeah, it only cut out for maybe, what, 10 seconds? Did he even cut out for 10 seconds? I'm not sure. But obviously I was better than my phone overheating and the whole thing just shutting down. So I think I just cut out for a few seconds. I have no idea. See all these crazy things. That's green screen mode. I don't have a green screen. How do I turn it off? What in the hell of it? What? Oh, it's got a green screen mode where I could put pictures from my camera roll behind me. That's a little crazy. Yeah, it was only like 1 second, right? That's not bad. That's not bad. So to drive under, you know, all that water and all that concrete and all that steel and just only cut out for a second, it seems like this is doable. I can do live streams like this. Now, do you guys, you're probably going to be biased, but do you guys watch more live streams on YouTube than you do on TikTok? I'm trying to figure out, you know, what might be better. Should I do the live streams on TikTok? Should I do them on YouTube? Which one should I do? But you guys are watching me on YouTube, so I kind of expect you guys to say, so hold on, let me see if I can flip this around. So this, I don't know if you guys can see all that building and all that land there. All that land there and what they're building here. So that is a big lithium ion battery separator plant that they're building. So it was like a, I don't know, like a $3 billion investment. So it's a company called Asahi Kasei, and they're partnered with Honda, and they're going to be building a EV battery separator plant there. It's probably not going to be done for like a year or two. I was a little worried about the the tariffs and all that kind of stuff, and if they were gonna pick up shop and move to the United States, but they said they're going ahead with it, so that's cool. The plant is still being built, and it's like, I don't know, 5 minutes from my house, so it should be interesting. Craig says she doesn't use TikTok. YouTube is better. So yeah, I think if I use my laptop, I could probably live stream to both at the same time. But I like the simplicity of just doing it on my phone, so I might just be doing it on YouTube. We'll see. Most likely that'll probably be what it is. But it also depends on the overheating issue, right? Or maybe I'll set up like an action camera on my dash, and then I can hook that up to my laptop while we're driving and live stream that to TikTok and do my phone to YouTube. And then that way you can get me everywhere on the TikToks and the YouTubes. So right here is a place where there's no cell phone reception. Like, they found dead bodies in this area, and that ain't even a joke. People be dumping dead bodies in this area, and there's no cell phone reception. So yeah. So using the Starlink, I still get full reception, still able to do live streams. So it's pretty damn convenient. There's horse stables to my right that you can't really see because of the trees. But yeah, all here, no cell phone receptions. Like, when my friends come visit me and I'm on the phone with them asking like how close you are, I can always tell that they're like 10 minutes from my house, because they'll have no reception here and the phone will cut off. And I'm like, all right, cool, I know where you are. Switch it back around because you guys apparently say you want to see my big hairy face. For those of you who are curious, my hair is still growing. It's still long. I've decided not to cut it, so it is long. I have very long hair. You couldn't tell because it's tied up right now, but yeah. You guys got any updates over the Elon and Trump divorce that's going on right now? I know this morning they announced that they're going to have a call together or something. So I kind of expect that to be a little crazy. Now, there's a couple conspiracies as to what's happening. Now, one of them, which could be interesting, is that they're both doing this on purpose. And they're both crashing the stock market on purpose so that they can both buy their own stock for 30 to 50% cheaper, right? So Donald Trump has his own stock, the Donald Trump Media Group or whatever. And then Elon obviously has his own stock. All right, yo, 619, appreciate you stopping by. Have a good one, man. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I've posted pictures from my telescope. I don't know if I've shared them. I might have shared them as like reels on Instagram or something, but I don't know if I like shared them. I probably should start using YouTube as more of like a social media, to be honest, where I post pictures in the community tab and like do that kind of crazy shit. Maybe. Would you guys view the community tab if I started posting pictures on there? Yeah, so a reason why they would crash their own stocks 30 to 50% is so that they can buy more shares in their own stock, right? Because, you know, let's be real. If you know anything about charting stocks, if you look at like the S&P 500 or something like that, usually when we see, I think it's on the daily or the weekly chart, when it comes back down to touch its 200 moving average over the next 2 to 4 years, the S&P 500 doubles. And we came very close a month ago when the whole tariff stuff started happening to touching the 200 weekly average on the S&P 500. And that's bringing it down to like 480, 470, right? And we've gone back up to 600 now. But if there's another pullback back to around 500, we will be touching that, you know, 200-day moving average. And then over the next 2 to 4 years, the S&P 500 is going to be worth like $900. That's just historically what it's done, right? So, you know, if the whole stock market doubles in the next 2 to 4 years and they're able to buy their own stocks at 30 to 50% less than market value right now, and, you know, they hold it over the next 2 to 4 years, because I mean, it's their own company, it's their own stocks. If they're going to believe in anything, they should believe in themselves. Then, you know, that's going to go up, you know, over 100% because they're buying it below market value, right? So that's one conspiracy as to what's going on with all of them right now. Yeah. But who knows? Who knows why they're doing what they're doing? So I'm just getting home. So I'm probably going to be ending this live stream soon. But thank you for joining me on this test to see how it worked. I'm just reversing into the driveway. And I'll see you guys on the next one. I might do another members live stream on my next drive. So that one will be testing overheating while I'm driving and to see if I can get this on a landscape mode. But yeah, for the members of the channel, check out that. I'm going to do some more testing to see, you know, if I can get this into widescreen and if I can do it while I'm charging and if there's going to be any overheating. So thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate all the members of the channel. Appreciate you guys joining me and all the super chats and super stickers and all that kind of good stuff. So thank you for being subscribed. Even though I haven't been putting out a whole lot of content, I appreciate you guys and have a good one. Stay tuned for what's up next. Peace.